Internet Daniel, Driving and Dragons, got another short for you. And this time we're going to talk about don't reinvent the wheel when you got an opportunity to steal. See you on the other side. Okay, so this piece of advice is pretty simple. Pretty simple in execution. It does kind of stings a little bit, and it's kind of hard to do in one way because it requires a little bit more real life effort on one way. It's one of those ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure type of situations. But don't reinvent the wheel when you have the opportunity to steal. Or you can flip that around and say it the short version, steal instead of reinvent the wheel. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that we all homebrew. We all do lots of homebrews. I'm not going to say there's not any rules as written game masters out there, but let's face it, 99% of us, we're going to have little adjustments we make for our table. We're going to have little adjustments we make for our players. We're going to do some Rule Zero stuff, and we're going to have some homebrew in there, and we're going to have some homebrew rules. But the best thing you can do, this is a great piece of advice, and this is another one of those things where you get a great advantage from playing multiple games and not being pigeonholed into one game. If you're just a Dungeons and Dragons DM, that can sting you a little bit. But even within Dungeons and Dragons, you can do this with different editions. Is if you're like, hey, I want to come up with something, I want to add something, I want to make this homebrew rule, I want to address this issue, regardless of what it is. Before you go out trying to just completely write a rule that you can put in there to change the system and risk a ton of unintended consequences unbalancing your game, look for a place where you can steal something similar. I'll give you an example. I'm a big fan of the luck mechanic from Call of Cthulhu. I will use the luck mechanic at my Dungeons & Dragons table frequently. Why? Because I think it's a very good mechanic that has a lot of utility, especially in those situations where there's not really a roll that needs to be made or a skill that really fits for it. It's a great catch-all to help with those. And it helps with those Dungeon Master's discretion type deals where somebody comes up with, I want to do this or I want to try that. And it's like, yeah, sure. Well, let's go ahead and roll luck to see if that's the kind of thing that's going to be workable for you as opposed to just saying a flat out yes or no. So the reason I say steal first, one, it's a lot less work. You got another game system. You got where some other people have play tested and worked a system. It may be multiple editions in. There's some real world data on how it works. Plus, it's real easy to see where the strengths and weaknesses are and what you may need to just tweak a little bit to fit it into your system. It saves you the trouble of all those ground level mistakes that can be made where you didn't think of something before you put it in the game. Now you've radically unbalanced it. You've gotten your players used to it, and now it's kind of unfair for you to go back and change it and take it away from them. So when you have an opportunity, just reach out to and look at another system, look at a module that introduced a mechanic or something. Find something similar and see if you can tweak that before you start worrying about completely rewriting something. See you next time.